Today I would like to read to you just a little bit from this really nice book, From Little Boats, A Short History of the Township of Yarmouth. And I'll read a few words from this book. They came in little boats, those first families that crossed the Gulf of Maine, to re-establish themselves in the township of Yarmouth. Those who were here before them, the Acadians and the Mi'kmaq, used little boats as well, canoes, shallops, and open whale boats. Hello my friends, I am Michelle the Introvert, and I want to welcome you today on my adventure throughout the town of Yarmouth. I'm originally from Ontario, but I've been living here for quite a few years with my husband and children. Gerald, my husband, is originally born here in Yarmouth, but I'm from Ontario, and since I've been living here, there are some very special places that I've learned about and that I like to go to, and I'd like to share them all with you today. So come on along, my friends. Another adventure's on the way. One of my absolute favorite places to come to in Yarmouth is down to the wharf to look at all the different boats, the different colors, and the different names that they put on each boat. Adds a lot of character. But being from Ontario, I never saw these type of things obviously in Ontario, so here in Nova Scotia, this is such a joy just to come down to the wharf and take a look around. It's a little bit chilly out here today. I should have brought my gloves, but that's okay. I'm still bundled up fairly warm. And I think it's going to be a good day today. A good day. Most of the boats that you see here are lobster fishing boats. And you can see that they're all geared up, ready to go. See the fishing totes that are in the boat? That's what I use for my vegetable garden. I plant my vegetable seeds in totes just like that, those fishing totes. But you can see here that this is what they're used for. They're used on the fishing boats. They're very durable, practical, and they handle all sorts of weather, and they last. Kind of hard to see in the window, but that's where the captain steers his boat. I was just talking to a gentleman who was a lobster fisherman, and he had told me that a lot of the boats here at the wharf are indeed lobster fishing boats, but some of them go out to fish for scallops as well. He also told me that in Digby, which is about half an hour to an hour's drive from Yarmouth, in Digby, a lot of the fishermen there, they go out to fish for scallops, a lot of them there. But here in Yarmouth, mostly it's lobster fishermen, so that's good to know. I'm so interested just in the different types of boats and what they do, and someday I would love to go on, of course with permission, go on with the captain or the owner of the boat and just ask, like, what's this for? What's that for? What does this do? What does that do? It would be really interesting to find out more about these wonderful boats. It's something I didn't grow up with. In Ontario, you don't see things like this. But I just find it fascinating And there's just so much history down here at the wharfs and with the boats, and so much Yarmouth history that I really, really love the longer that I've been living here. Heading down into the south end of Yarmouth, there's a few very interesting places that I'd like to show you. The building that you see behind me is the old Yarmouth Hospital, and I'd like to read a little bit to you about it from this book here, Images of Our Past, Historic Yarmouth Town and County. And it is in the south end of Yarmouth, on the corner of Church and Sycamore Streets. The building was donated to the Hospital Society by Jake Bingay, and he was a ship owner. It was donated in 1911 and served as such until 1918, when the hospital was moved to Vancouver Street. So the present day hospital is in the north end, and this is the south end. This south end building was built around 1843 and is currently a private residence. This nice older home here is a heritage property, and it was the McGinnis's house. Now recently it has been sold and the new owners are doing some work on it. But if you look at the very top on the roof, you'll see the Widow's Walk by the chimney. And Gerald has a very nice and special memory about that Widow's Walk. He said that the family, every Christmas, the family that lived there, they would play Christmas music from that Widow's Walk, and all of the South End could hear the beautiful Christmas music. And that's a very special memory that Gerald has. I'm just walking down the road a little tiny bit. No cars coming. I'm going to take you to another special place. A place that's very special to Gerald and his side of the family. And we're coming up to a special home. This is the home that Gerald's mother grew up in, and she had 5 siblings. So this is her childhood home actually, and it's not a very big home. It's actually quite small when you consider that Gerald's grandparents raised 6 children in this little house. Here, take a look. This is it right here. This is the house where Gerald's mother, Doreen, grew up in with her 5 siblings. And Gerald's grandparents' names were Eli and Ida. And there is a picture of Doreen and her sister by this pool. Interesting picture. But Gerald has often said that his grandfather had chickens in the backyard, and they had a kitchen garden as well. So this is a very special house right here. We're heading down to the north end of Yarmouth because there's some interesting things and places that I'd like to show you there. I'm going to talk to you right now about the beautiful horse fountain that you see behind me. And this is in Milton. And I'm going to read some information from this book that was written in 1902. It is Yarmouth Reminiscences, and it was written by Lawson. He wrote a little bit about the beautiful horse fountain. The fountain at Milton Square was placed in position on the 20th of May in 1893. It is the most beautiful, substantial, and most useful gift of Miss Clara Killam. It is a massive iron monumental structure standing on a granite pedestal and surrounded by a bronze statue of a horse. The pose of the statue is exceedingly attractive. The height of the monument is about 12 feet and is most suitably proportioned. The ironwork is paneled and richly ornamented. A brass plate in one of the panels bears the following inscription: "Presented to Milton, Yarmouth by Clara Killam, May 1st, 1893. There are 2 drinking troughs for horses and cattle and 4 for smaller animals." Let's go take a look. Here's a nice placard that's on the side of this beautiful horse fountain. This is one of the drinking troughs of the fountain where the cattle and the horses used to come when they wanted their drink of water. And behind me you can see paved roads, but at the time when this was built, there was dirt roads here. This here is where the water would come out and then go down into this here trough below. These are other drinking fountains or troughs as well. And down at the bottom, you see one of them there. It's quite small, but dogs and cats used to come, and smaller animals, to get a drink of water from that. And there's quite a few of those surrounding this fountain. This is on the other side, and you can see where there's quite a few drinking troughs or fountains for the animals, and the big ones were for the horses and the cattle. There's another smaller one there for dogs, cats, or other small animals. So it was very, very practical and handy back in the day. And of course the water came out of that right there on this side. Now we're going to head to our next destination. at now is actually near and dear to my heart. Again, a lot of you know that I have a heart for those who are less fortunate. And the place that we are now, as you can see, this property, this is actually the poorhouse, or was the poorhouse. It was the Yarmouth municipal home at Arcadia, and it was the municipal home for the poor. And I'm taking some of this information from this book here, Historic Yarmouth Town and County. And what this book says is, this landmark 3-story Georgian-style home was built in 1870 as the municipal home for the poor. It was a working farm which was mostly self-sustaining. Over the years, the home has been called the Poor's Asylum, and later the Riverview Home. In 1975, residents were moved to Harborside Lodge at the Yarmouth Hospital, and the home was closed. In March 1997, this building was demolished. On July 1st, 1997, the unmarked burial ground for the home was declared a historic site by the Yarmouth County Historical Society. What you're seeing here, these buildings here, are just what's left over, like the remnants of what was. The main building was just further down, I believe. And as far as the grave site, I see a big cross over the field, way in that direction over there. And I will see if I can get access to that another day. And if I'm allowed to, then I'll share it with you all. But places like this are very near and dear and close to my heart. The people who are less fortunate, this is where they were. And Charles Dickens, the author Charles Dickens in England, he often spoke of the conditions of poorhouses. He wasn't a fan of them. And I'd like to learn more about the poorhouses that were here in Nova Scotia, including this one. There is a book that I've learned about just recently by an author named Brenda Thompson, and the book is called A Wholesome Horror: Poor Houses in Nova Scotia. And I'm going to try to order that book because I'm really interested. And as far as the poorhouse here, if you're wondering why I can't get closer, which I would love to do, I would love to go right up to the house, go right up to the barns just to look around outside. But there's a no trespassing sign, so I don't dare go further to go up here just because of that no trespassing sign. But I did want to share this with you because it's special to me. And again, I have a heart for those who are less fortunate, so I thought I'd share this with you today. the beautiful Cape Shoe. And you can probably see the Yarmouth Lighthouse in the back there. The Yarmouth Light was erected in 1838 and lighted for the first time on January 15th, 1840. It would seem that the placement of a lighthouse would be such an obvious benefit to mariners that no one could be against it. Such was not the case. The lower house passed a grant of £500 toward the erection of a lighthouse on Cape Shoe, but was defeated in the council, which wanted to appoint a committee to look into it, which it did. This may have resulted in unnecessary delays, but since 1840, the Yarmouth Light has served as a welcome beacon to all who approach the harbor. Thank you so much for joining me on today's adventure, and if you like this vlog, please give me the YouTube thumbs up or press that subscribe button. That would be great. And I have more vlogs coming up, so stay tuned and I'll talk to you all soon. Talk to you soon, my friends. Bye.